Good evening. Welcome to my channel. My name is David Okun. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for subscribing and also leaving comments, feedback. I'm talking about Jeff Bezos of Amazon. Jeff Bezos actually is the owner of Amazon. Amazon is one of the biggest corporation businesses in the world, and it is actually probably the biggest retail online retail platform in the world, and it is owned by Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is the third richest man in the world. The reason I'm speaking about Jeff Bezos because of the cost of living, in the sense that he is very rich and one of the biggest employers of the world. And one of the reasons for the cost of living is actually income. The primary reason um, for the cost of living is actually income related. People on low income actually suffer from the cost of living more than those who are actually better off, as in employment, in and payments. And if you are on benefit, then automatically you are going to be a victim of the cost of living. It's a crisis, and this is actually obvious because, like I said, the cost of living is an income related issue. The solution to the cost of living is actually maximizing your income, which include employment, good pay at employment, and also if you're self-employed, make sure your profit is actually high and you are earning a high amount of money of income from your self-employment, especially if your employment is a medium to large business. And also if you're a small business, you might also be earning some good money. And if you earn good money, if you make good profit, then you may be solving the problem of the cost of living. And so, what I have been saying, including in the previous videos, is that if one of the things you can do to solve the cost of living crisis, um, being a victim of the cost of living, one of the ways to avoid is actually to learn how to make money. And also to do that, you need to learn to do business. And talking about Jeff Bezos, to see how Jeff Bezos actually made his money, I believe is part of the solution to the cost of living as a crisis. If everybody could actually do what Jeff Bezos did, they would probably be out of poverty in the first place, but also enter into affluence, becoming rich in theory. So that is theoretical. And I find it important to talk about Jeff Bezos. So I've been talking about different uh, element of his life, his business, and how he impacted the society in different ways. And I'm now looking at the way Jeff Bezos has been recognized around the world and in many ways. And for example, in 1999, Jeff Bezos received his first major award when Time named him Person of the Year. Time should be a media outlet um, naming Jeff Bezos as the Person of the Year. Leave a comment below if you know what a Person of the Year actually means. Probably his personality and to do with his success, how much he has achieved. And if you watch the previous videos relating to Amazon and Jeff Bezos, you will actually get to know more about the story of Jeff Bezos. And that's the aim of this video series. And watch this video, watch the other videos also if you have time. And so also in 2008, Jeff Bezos was selected by the U.S. News and World Report as one of America's best leaders. Being one of America's best leaders and tells you that he's a business leader, a commercial and a corporate leader, as well as he's a technician, he's a scientist, he's a researcher, he's everything. He has a lot of experience, and he leads in different capacities. So America's best leaders. He's one of America's best leaders. So News and World Reports, U.S. News selected the U.S. News and World Report, which is actually an organization, it's an entity, naming Jeff Bezos in 2008 as one of America's best leaders. So that's really important. And also, Jeff Bezos was also awarded an honorary doctorate in science and technology from Carnegie Mellon University in 2008. So in 2008, Carnegie Mellon University named Jeff Bezos as gave him an honorary doctorate. So that's an equivalent of somebody having a PhD in science and technology. So you can call him Dr. Jeff Bezos if you want. That is an extraordinary achievement. So that is actually his profile. And I'm not suggesting everybody is going to have the same profile as Jeff Bezos. But what I'm saying, especially to young people, that if Jeff Bezos can achieve greatness because of his work, because of his discipline, and because of his tenacity, then anyone in the world, the 8 billion people in the world, can do it as well. Especially if you're still young, you have time, and even if you are old, you can still actually start now to learn how Jeff Bezos made an achievement, and start teaching yourself, and also start leading in your own capacity. If you're 50 years, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, as long as you still have the capacity to learn and to do something, you can actually be doing something with your life, learning about important people like Jeff Bezos. And in spite of the weaknesses associated with him, I've actually highlighted a lot of negative things about Jeff Bezos, in spite of his wealth, in spite of his achievement in the other videos. But my actually criticizing Jeff Bezos, although it's also evidence-based, my reasoning is based on my idea that people should have respect for themselves, and they should also have respect for others. Because if you respect yourself, if you respect other people, then you're going to be a good person. And goodness actually is the way you treat people. If you learn to treat yourself with respect, because there are some people who don't even respect themselves, and it is actually destroying us. If you think I'm saying the right thing, leave a comment below and support this channel in any way you can, and support this video also, and support me in saying this, because our future depends on how we live. If we live destructively, we're going to destroy ourselves and destroy the world. As simple as that. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor. And a lot of rich people are actually culturally uneducated. That means they don't have respect. They respect only money. You should respect people first and respect money second. It doesn't matter how poor or rich you are, whether the cost of living or not. You have to respect a human being more than thing, wealth, money. Anything which is not human should come second. And that's actually the purpose of my project. The entire video, in the entire participation within this project, I will be mentioning cultural economy. It's actually a terminology I've created, meaning respect for self and respect for others. And respect for your property, respect for other people's property. I'll be mentioning it over and over and over. Those who are interested should actually join me in discussing the cultural economy and the new cultural economy, which is actually the global dimension of the cultural economy, which is respect locally, nationally, but respect globally. Because the reason I say it is because we are becoming a global economy. Globalization has matured. We are actually now a global world. If you still think Britain is a sovereign state, which it is, but think again, because the idea of a British sovereignty or any other country of the world being sovereign is theoretical. In practice, every country is now global. The citizenship is actually global. The world is preparing for global citizenship, for a global country, a global world. The world is going to be like a country, like one world. The government, the economy, the culture, the custom are actually discussed globalization in the other video. And learn about these things because they are very important. They involve very radical changes. And these radical changes actually involve a lot of stress within the system, and this actually often create wars such as in Ukraine and conflict around the world, which actually culminate in some cost of living or some other catastrophe, some other disaster. And the cost of living is just one of the events which is going to actually distress the world going forward, because the rate of change is now very, very fast because of technology, because of the growth of knowledge, because of wealth, because of systems. Systems are very efficient. Things move very fast. So that's why I'm actually discussing this. I think is quite interesting to explain why the cost of living is a crisis. Because if you want to solve the problem of the cost of living, learn about it. That's why I'm repeating these points in every video. I will be mentioning certain things over and over and over. And so Jeff Bezos was also awarded by somebody called they were actually awarded they were given an award by The Economist. It was given to Jeff Bezos and Greg Zera. These two are actually innovators. So the innovation, actually, the award was actually innovation award. And this was actually given for Amazon and for Kindle. Kindle is what you use to read. It's a book. It's actually a digital kind of equipment to read books. So these are actually some of the achievements by Jeff Bezos. And in 2012, he was also named Business Passion of the Year by Fortune. Fortune, I think, is actually a kind of magazine, or actually it's a media facility. So he is Jeff Bezos is also a member of Bilderberg Group. If you know anything about the Bilderberg Group, leave a comment below. It's one of the most high-profile organizations. They are actually very central to globalization, and they are one of the most powerful infrastructures in the world. The Bilderberg Group, and he also attended the 2011 Bilderberg conference in Saint Moritz in Switzerland, and the 2013 conference in Watford. This is in England. Watford is England, in Hertfordshire, in England. So he has been very active, and these are actually high-profile conferences. The Bilderberg Group, and also attending the 2011 Bilderberg conference in St. Moritz in Switzerland, in St. Moritz in Switzerland, and also in England, in Watford. If you know Watford, if you live in England, leave a comment below. I have a lot of respect for Watford for holding such a high-profile conference in Hertfordshire, in England. So, Jeff Bezos was also a member of the executive committee of the Business Council for 2011 and 2012. He was also between 2014 and 2018, Jeff Bezos was ranked the best performing CEO in the world by Harvard Business Review. Harvard is part of Harvard University, I would suppose. So if you talk of Harvard Business Review, you're talking about a media outlet, I suppose. I'm not so sure what it is, but I think it's a media review, a media infrastructure associated with Harvard University. And I'm just listing some of his achievements, which is actually very impressive, very remarkable. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about Jeff Bezos and his extraordinary achievement. I would wish to be him as an achiever. And, everybody should really admire Jeff Bezos and really, feel good about what he has done. He did a lot of positive things and he's achieved a lot. And he works very, very hard. And if you watch the previous video, I've actually mentioned him that he is some sort of a workaholic. And he actually treats his employees as robots in terms of subjecting them to work. Leave a comment below if you have worked for Amazon and let me know your experience. What do you think about Jeff Bezos? Amazon is, everybody knows it in the world. In 2014 and between 2014 and 2018, he was ranked the best performing CEO in the world by the Harvard Business Review. I think I've already said that. And he has also figured in Fortune's list of 50 great leaders of the world for 3 straight years. And topping the list in 2015. So 2015 is remarkable for him because, he became like #1 in Fortune's list of 50 years. Fortune actually speaks volume. I think you know what Fortune is. To talk about Fortune is actually something, if you say maybe you win a lottery, you won $10 million, US dollar. That is a fortune. So Fortune, I think, is actually kind of like an institution. I think it's actually a magazine but definitely I think it's a media platform. So he lists him among the 50 great leaders of the world for 3 straight years, topping the list in 2015. 2015 he was the best, according to Fortune. So this is actually the profiling of Jeff Bezos. If you want to learn how to set up your profile, study the profile of people like Jeff Bezos and also structure your profiling, your work profile, your personal profile, your academic profile, your business profile if you're a business person. But even if you're a parent, if you don't work, if you're a mother, a single parent, single mother, for example, you can still design your profile. It doesn't matter even if you think it is not really important, but it is, because it's your life. You document your life. You design it. You structure it. You work on it on a daily basis. I mean, if you go shopping, write a story about your experience as a shopper. That is your profile. Do something with your life. You never know. I mean, you go to a park with children, take a camera, take the photograph, take pictures, and come home and actually document that. And write a profile over the day. What happened from start to finish, if you remember. You can actually keep a diary, online diary, and you document your life. You never know. You may write a story based on your life, and your story can be a bestseller. Single mother. You didn't even go to school. Maybe you studied after secondary school. But because you have a story to tell, I mean, you become very interesting. You can write a best-selling novel based on your life, and it can be a bestseller. You can actually, you can publish your book with Amazon. Incidentally, if they like your book, even whether they like it or not, I mean, if you can sell your book online, you can set up a basic website. You can set up a YouTube channel to sell your book. You talk about your book only on a YouTube channel. If people like the story, they will begin to buy your book, and you're going to make money. You may not be a millionaire straight away, because the thing is, if your book is a bestseller, you're most likely going to be a multimillionaire in US dollar. So don't underestimate the current age, because we live in the age of information. Anything can trigger anything. Anything actually, just you take a photograph of a meal with your children. They are not even particularly dressed well. You're just doing something ordinary. Somebody somewhere might like it. People may like it, especially within the social media. And then it goes viral. Then you can tell a story based on that photograph because people like it. People are actually following you because of that one photograph. So social media is really dynamic, and it depicts, actually, it represents modern times. We are a world connected globally. My video is actually being watched everywhere in the world. And that is really extraordinary. More and more people around the world are watching my video. And I only started 2 months ago. And 2 years later, a lot more people around the world will know me. That's what globalization means, because that's why I decided to speak about globalization. In the previous video, I might in the future still be talking about globalization again. I'm thinking now to start to talk about the European Union, because the EU is very important. It would be really negligent for me not to talk about the EU, European Union. European Union actually is responsible for globalization in a central way. And if you look at Africa, how Africa is funded, they are funded by the IMF and the World Bank, which is actually within the European Union. It's a financial system, banking and the financial instrumentation within the European Union, and it drives global economy. It actually fund developing countries alike. Most countries now borrow money from the IMF and the World Bank. So it control this country, actually erase away sovereignty. If you borrow money, if you're a country, even if you're in Britain, you start borrowing money from the IMF and the World Bank, and all these other institutions which support development, development in the world. All these institutions, the World Economic Forum, for example, I'm not exactly sure what World Economic Forum does, but I might actually speak about World Economic Forum, do a research and get information and really discuss it, and my channel should serve as a trigger for you to do research. And if you start doing research for yourself, it's more empowering than just sitting there and waiting for somebody else to do a research for you. It's empowerment. Empowerment is also a major source of solving the cost of living, because it actually strengthens you. Even if you don't have money, you feel good about your life. You feel you're useful. You're learning something new, and participating on this channel is really important. I would advise. But we are 2 months and we are getting there. I'm doing my best to be seen, because you're looking at the globe, the global market, the global traffic, and it flows so quickly. It makes me feel good for not really being big. And it makes me feel like I can justify why my being small and it's a channel. I can justify it in a sense because apparently, if if people don't really see me, I can actually say it's not entirely my fault. I'm just trying my best. Maybe one day I will be more visible and I can see the response. People will react to me more positively. I get a lot of viewing from London because I live in London, and actually the UK actually number one viewer. Then they spend on average or more than about 3 hours watching my video on average, and that's really 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 a lot. And in terms of cities, London also is number one, and also Westminster. Westminster in East London is number two, and I think Raynham also. Raynham is a city. Ilford I think is number three or number four. I live in Ilford, so leave a comment below if you live in Ilford. And if you're interested in Amazon, if you shop in Amazon, you be an expert on Amazon, because that is where. I mean, if Amazon closes down today, perhaps most of the retail outlets will be digitized, meaning you buy online, you shop online, like places like Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Lidl, and Asda here in the UK, and places like, all these retail outlets, Iceland, will be actually delivering onto your doorstep food, drinks, clothing, Marks and Spencer, and all those people. If you shop in Harrods, leave a comment below if you actually shop in Harrods, and also in if you shop in Harrods, let me know. Leave a comment below. Harrods is probably the biggest retail infrastructure in the world. I'm not sure, but it's one of the, if not the biggest, then one of the biggest. I might actually talk about Harrods, because Harrods is really important in the world. It's based here in London. And if you're interested, Google Harrods and read about it. If you can view a channel, can view a YouTube channel on Harrods, then be my guest. I mean, have a go and let us know. So actually, we talk about money. We talk about wealth, and it's so important to be associated with wealth. Actually, think about money. Think about money. Think about how to make money. Think about Amazon. Think about Jeff Bezos. Think about people like that. If you know any rich person, just read about them. Think about them is good enough. But actually, reading makes somebody wise. If you are a wise person, if people keep calling you wise, I mean, if you meet people, they say you are a really wise person. If people thank you for being, for your wisdom, know that because you read. If you read, you are going to be wise. And in my opinion, if you watch educational material also, if you like watching educational material, you're going to be a wise person. Wisdom is really important. Reading makes you clever. It's actually really a great source of power. Thinking, your thinking is a source of power. But reading makes you wise. And focusing is really important, because it's actually more powerful than just thinking. You focus on something, you think about something over and over and over and over. As in focusing on thinking about something, maybe talking about it all the time. This thinking, because as you think, you speak, and as you think and speak, so you are. And if you focus on wealth, how wealth is made, if you go online and learn about making money, then, and if you put in the work towards actually doing a business, a project, or even if you are actually employed, you think strategically how you use your employment to start looking for an investment. It doesn't matter how little it is. Hard work is the deciding factor. I mean, it doesn't matter how brilliant your idea is. If your idea is brilliant and you do nothing with your idea, you get nothing also. The only way to succeed is to work hard, is to work at all. It doesn't matter whether you don't work hard or not. The harder you work, the more successful you become. That is actually proven by studying Jeff Bezos. So in February 2018, Jeff Bezos was elected to the National Academy of Engineering for leadership and innovation in space exploration, autonomous systems, and building a commercial pathway for human space flight. And we mentioned this in the previous video about Jeff Bezos. So in 2018, he was elected actually the National Academy of Engineering for leadership and innovation in space exploration, autonomous system. Autonomous systems are actually vehicles which are actually driverless. They drive themselves. Autonomy means they actually don't depend on anybody. They just drive themselves. Nobody drives them. So autonomous system actually like let's say a robot, a piece of robot with which actually have artificial intelligence. If you find a robot walking around in the room, if you buy one robot, it can also cook for you if it is intelligent. I mean, it knows how to cook. It will cook food for you. Also, you can send it to the supermarket and buy things for you there. That's autonomous because they think independently. This is really exciting times. And Jeff Bezos is actually at the forefront of technological innovation. He leads, actually, space exploration, going into space. We talked about that in the previous videos. Watch the other videos and also learn about space exploration because it's actually very new age. If you're actually young, be obsessed with space exploration, autonomous systems. These are actually very contemporary systems, and building a commercial pathway for human for human space flight. So now, when we talk of exploring the space, if we develop human space flight, human actually flying into space, and commercial pathway means actually the commercialization of space flight. The route leading to that, the route leading to commercial flight, and we saw in the other videos also the activities involving Jeff Bezos. And also, I think it's about if you are going to fly into space, and if Jeff Bezos produces the facilities for space flight, it's going to cost between, I think, 200 and 300,000 US dollar. So if you have money, you're going to start flying to and fro. Actually, as soon as they get the space, the vehicles and all the utilities, facilities rather, and the facilities in the space, then people will start going on holiday there. I think in terms of Mars, flying to Mars and also the moon as a commercial project, and we'll need a lot of special spaceship to get people in space vehicle to get people there. So maybe with nanotechnology, if the Bezos of their generation can discover the right fuel, the right power, should I call it engine or whatever they are going to call it, something to power this system into space, then it's going to be really exciting. And if you're a young person, if you're an old person, take an interest in it. And also try to understand the value of Jeff Bezos in terms of this, cool things. So also in March 2018, very recent, a few years ago, at the Explorers Club annual dinner, he was awarded a Buzz Aldrin Space Exploration Award in recognition of his work with the Blue Origin. Blue Origin is actually a space exploration project which we looked at in the other videos also. And if you watch the other video, you will learn about Blue Origin and Jeff Bezos. These are actually things to do with his achievement. We're looking at his award, and he received Germany's 2018 Axel Springer Award for Business Innovation and Social Responsibility. Social responsibility means his investment product, for example, take into account the environmental impact, the cost impact, and things like that. And so Jeff Bezos is really wholesome. It's not for nothing that is number 3 in the world in wealth. You could be number 3 or even number 2 or number 1 in the world if you do what he does. If you're lucky enough, if you're still young, and if you are older, you might not actually have the time. Because Jeff Bezos started very young, but don't take my word for it. You can get rich in 5 years, in 10 years. You can maybe be a multi-billionaire. Luck can also play a part. But, hard work is the secret, and also having a good vision. Learning about people like this is really, I keep on saying this over and over and over, and I think you're going to be exciting. You're going to be so excited hearing me talking about Jeff Bezos and Amazon over and over and over. So Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world on 5 separate occasions between 2008 and 2018. So this is really excellent. Time magazine is wholesome. I mean, if you rub shoulder with Time magazine and the people there, and they give you an award. He was named one of the 100 most influential people in the world. This was done on 5 separate occasions between 2008 and 2018. This is actually awesome. You don't want to respect Jeff Bezos. If that is what you think, you don't want to respect Jeff Bezos, then my advice, respect him. Because of his achievement. I know I've been saying something negative about him, justifiably. Because I think all he thinks about is money, which is actually something we need to really pay attention to. It doesn't matter how rich you are, it doesn't matter how famous you are, you still have to respect yourself. Respect other people. Meaning, people come first, no matter what. It doesn't matter how much money you're looking for. You cannot sacrifice a human being to be rich. That is wrong. And that is where I disagree with rich people. Make money, be rich, but actually respect yourself, respect other people. Value humans more than money. It doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter how famous you are. It doesn't matter how hard you work. Your work is zero. It's worthless if you do not value human beings. This is actually a cultural gap in our progress. We need to start all over again along the front of our cultural progress. We need it for survival. That's why there's a lot of cruelty. There's a lot of violence, including the war in Ukraine. If Russia and Ukraine respected each other, if they were culturally educated as nations, they would not be fighting. Now, if you speak to a Russian, they think, you would think if you hear them talk about Ukrainians, you would be tempted to think Ukrainians are actually not human beings, and vice versa. If you speak to Ukrainian, you ask them about Russia, you might actually be tempted to believe Russians are not human, and both are wrong, because they are culturally uneducated, and that's why they are fighting. If they were culturally educated, they will stop fighting tomorrow. You don't need America, you don't need the world to go and persuade these two powers to stop fighting. They're just ignorant, culturally ignorant. And someone like Jeff Bezos should also learn to be culturally astute, culturally literate. Otherwise, he's going to be a very worthless billionaire. Everything he does is going to turn into ashes. The world could go extinct because of his achievement. Because see, violence is a very dangerous thing if you are rich. You can use your money to destroy the world, your wealth and power to destroy the world. So, cultural component of progress is extremely important. I'll be talking about it more and more and more until people begin to realize that there is a crisis, cultural crisis in the world. It doesn't matter which country you come from. There's a cultural crisis. It is a medicine for healing stupidity. We humans have now become so stupid. No disrespect, including me. When I speak like that, I speak about me first. I am number one. And I have to learn to respect myself, to respect other people. I have to lead by example. Otherwise, I'm going to get into more trouble telling other people to be respectful when I am not. Telling other people to be peaceful, to value human first when I don't. So I'm not saying it's going to happen today, but the conversation should start now. Government should start listening. Politics should now be including cultural education. Politicians cannot really live like wild animals, creating terrible policies, which is hurting people now. I mean, there's a cost of living now, and the government cannot help anybody because the government is actually culturally bankrupt. The MPs do not know what they're doing culturally because they don't value human beings. If they did, with much wealth in a country like Britain, nobody would be suffering from the cost of living. Our people are actually desperate in Britain. There are help, but you can't access help. Everywhere you go, you are actually not given help at all. At all. You know, there are private companies with government money. The government told them to give help to people. They don't. They keep the money. I don't know what they use it for. Most of them are actually wealthy. I know they're just greedy. They're disrespectful. And the government actually do it deliberately, knowing that these people actually make it so difficult to access help. The energy company, work program organizations, which is actually attached to the DWP, the Department of Work and Pension, with the energy company, with the water company, local authorities, and also the government offices itself. There are actually people who are so sick. They can die at any time. And the government doesn't listen to doctors. The doctor tells the government these people are actually sick. They cannot work. The government does not listen. They have created an assessment system which is actually it's such a bogus system. It's no brainer. Health assessment system should stop. If any MP or any minister or the prime minister, if they are watching this video by any chance, scrap health assessment, scrap well assessment immediately. It is preventing every sick person from getting help from the government. Almost 100%. Almost every application for health, for sickness benefit fails. So what is the point? Every sick person trying to get sickness benefit don't get it at all. And they have to go through very complicated process called mandatory reconsideration, which involve highly trained professionals to help these people. And even these organizations trying to help the people actually have no money. They get no support from the government to help people who need help in local. The local services is chaotic because of lack of funding. And I don't know where the government has put its brain. Some of the most intelligent people going into universities, including Cambridge, Oxford, are behaving like people who are totally illiterate, people who didn't go to school. They went to school such as Eton and private school, name them. They went to the best school, and they're one of the cleverest people on earth. The MPs, the ministers, the prime minister, they are so clever. And yet, when it comes to protecting the British people, they clueless. They have no idea. Local government system is rotting away because of lack of funding. Nothing else. And if these politicians want to listen, they should probably listen to people who are victims of government policy. And the DWP is actually a dying shell. It's an empty, it's like a ghost town. And this applies to tax offices. They're closing down. This applies to every government department is closing down now. And if you think only the government institutions are closing down, small and medium businesses are closing down. Okay? And that means the government should intervene in parallel to economic system to help people actually within the social welfare system objectives. But because of political ideology and actually partisan party political insanity, they have turned this country into a dungeon. People are actually desperate, and people who still keep their work are actually sleeping because they think they're going to work for the rest of their life. They are wrong. The bus transportation, the bus companies are closing down. If you're a driver, you're going to be jobless, or your children will have no jobs if they decide to be bus drivers or train drivers, because the vehicles are going to be autonomous anyway, which is a good thing. The government is investing in technology, in science, which is a good thing. A good thing. Investing in research is a good thing. But what is not good is that poor people have been left out. They are the majority of the population. They have been cut off, and people are actually ignorant about government and government policy. They don't know anything. British people, American, Europeans, Africans, because if you don't learn about government, how are you going to know? Very complex. If you're in Britain, go to the government website gov.uk and read about benefit and social welfare. If you learn anything within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if you learn about housing, about healthcare, about employment, your employment right, if you learn anything about employment policy, if you learn anything about benefit, about immigration, about family rights and responsibility, about education, all this information are there actually. If you learn anything, then leave a comment below. If you are viewing this video, you will note, because it is so complicated. The material are so complicated. Government is highly structured. Information on the website is helpful if you spend a lot of time there. And some people are so sick that they can't even read. Some people are so sick they can't even fill out forms, and yet the government makes them fill out this form, even if they are not really well trained. Most people who need help are really not necessarily experts. Even for experts, even for professionals, it is nightmare to claim universal credit. Actually, nightmare to claim personal independence payment. Nightmare to claim universal credit, the else element, limited capability for work-related activity. It's like speaking an alien language. I don't even know how to. Limited capability for work-related activity. Tell me, what is that? A sickness benefit. Why would you actually create something like that? Limited capability for work-related activity. Like, let's speaking in alien language. That is what is happening. That means you can claim universal credit without looking for work, and also without doing work-related activity. Work-related activities like training, and preparing for interviews, or preparing for work, or doing some training or certain activities to support your capacity, your employability. That is all there is. And why do you create this complication within health benefit? There should be one health benefit for children, for adults, and for pensioners. You have actually something called disability living allowance. This is actually for children. 6 years payment for children. Personal independence payment for adults from between 16 years and 65, I think. And then attendant allowance is the same for pensioners. And I'm not even sure if I'm actually mentioning it right. I may have to look to confirm the difference between DLA and DLA for children and AA, attendant allowance. And this is just the icing on the cake. Pension, state pension, you have occupational pension, you have state pension, pension credit, private pension, all sorts of pension. It's so complicated. There should be one pension for working class. If you work for a living, there should be only one pension, state pension, funded by the state. And the level of benefit should increase. I've said this before, and I say this again and again and again, because it's so important for alleviating poverty. You know, pension is benefit is so important in this country because work, actually retail is actually the mainstay of employment in Britain, and it is actually shutting down the retail system as an employability function. It's actually shutting down because of technology. It is good for customers, it's bad for employee. For people who rely on employment as their source of welfare. So retail actually is shutting down very fast. Because now if you go, like banking also, if you go to the bank and to the supermarket, you will find that all the cashiering are actually not automated. It's automation actually. And within the next 5 years, I can actually bet on the fact that you go to a supermarket, you will find nobody in the shop. It's not happening in America. In some supermarket, you just go and with your card, and also facial recognition technology, which is actually incidentally is created by Jeff Bezos. So facial recognition things are now being used on the streets. You walk on the street, this thing take your photograph and keep it anywhere, like resembling the condition of Big Brotherhood, spying on you on the street. I could be sitting here, this thing could be lurking somewhere around the corner, spying on me. And you go into shop, you go into buses, this thing are actually recognizing your face, and it's created by Jeff Bezos and his counterparts, which is good. What is not to like in this modern world? I mean, there's nothing to hide and nothing not to like. But then the reality remains, and government should actually think about expanding the state benefit system. They're dreaming of closing it down, but no. We need more, not less. We need actually more public service, not less, including employment. Minimum wage should be actually the minimum you can pay somebody is actually £20 an hour. And these should be supported by government intervention. The government should actually intervene in supporting private businesses, small and medium businesses, to specifically for this to use the money to support pay. And sometimes the government should intervene in big businesses, also support them to expand, especially expand employment where there is no longer enough capacity for employment. The government should pay a benefit justifiably. And this political rubbish, nonsensical rhetoric that you are better off in work. Yes, so what? And the capitalism does not produce full employment. Period. That is basic economics. Full employment is a myth. So the government should come clean and actually begin to change its policy to accommodate the gap in employment and employability. Where they can support employers to produce jobs and in good pay and good condition of work. When an employee enters work, they should have employment right from day one, like the Labour Party in Britain is proposing. I think that is the right policy for the country, and it's a right policy for anyone in the world who is actually a government, which is a government trying to support employability and employment. That is the right thing to do. Employment rights should be strengthened in favor of employees, because employers have a lot of power. They are good sources of good opportunity in the country, but they should also be supported financially and also in some other form by the government. There should be less taxation for small and medium businesses, and there should be tax cuts for them, and also more taxation for multi-billionaires, like Jeff Bezos and in the UK here, multi-billionaires such as what is his name, Virgin. I have nothing wrong. I mean, I have nothing against multi-billionaire, and God bless them. The government should actually work with them to support the country, to support the economy positively. They should thinking of people more than just wealth and money and power. Nobody's against wealth, money, and power, but we need to support people in this country. And this is actually the purpose of my speaking in this channel. And also, one of the reasons I actually created this channel is so to allow people to speak. If you look at my about in the channel, I want people to start speaking using any medium, every medium, social media. Let people speak in their own unique ways. Some people go and take off their clothes on social media. That is their right to speak. If you don't break the law, you can take off your clothes and walk naked if you want. That is your language. It's how you speak to the world. It's freedom. It may not be everybody's piece of cake, but make sure you're not breaking the law of the land or the rules of the space you're working in. I mean, you can do what you like. You can get drunk or do anything you like. If you go to TikTok, TikTok is really wild. The first time I went to TikTok, I was so scared. So wild. Somebody destroyed things happening in TikTok, but also in YouTube. It's freedom of speech. You speak with your body, speak with your mind, you speak with your mouth, lips is your body, mind is your body. The way you dress, the way you speak, the words I wish we could do everything with respect. Respect yourself, respect other people. It's okay, as long as you know your priorities. You do something which destroys humanity, it's wrong. Learn your culture. Be responsible. Pursue your right. But right without responsibility is a myth, and it is also not acceptable. So leave a comment below. Thank you for watching this video. If you watched up to this here, you're a superstar. If you watched this video up to here, you're such a superstar, and I'm really so grateful. Thank you so much for watching this video up to this end, and God bless you richly. And I mean this. Be blessed. Actually, I pray that something really fantastically good happens in your life, because you have come this far. You're a genius. You are my type of guy, my type of lady. You're my type of woman. Because you came this far, you viewed this video this far, and thank you so much. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. To support my channel, the best way to support is subscribe. Especially if you have come this far, viewing this far, don't walk away without subscribing. Check and like if you like the video, and leave a comment, do something, and talk to me. Then we'll see what we're going to do. We are 2 months old. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.